Beautifully struck by Pedro. It's the late equaliser for Lazio. And there's the only goal. Sabini with it. After 11 years, once again, Milan are the champions of Italy.
Ciao ragazzi, and welcome to yet another edition of Serie A Sitdown, World Football Index's podcast for your Calcio to go. I'm Frank Crivello. He's Richard Carmen. Ciao, Richard.
Ciao, Frank. Happy opening weekend. How are we doing?
Yeah, we're doing good. We're big in Malta, as I could
Yeah.
see from the chat. Jake Fenech he's a diehard man. He's staying up and he's plowing through. And hanging out and watching us tonight. Thank you for joining us, Jake. That's awesome. Got the usual cast of characters in the chat. See Ollie in the house. Anthony LaFleur is just chomping at the bit to hear what we have to say as always. So, great to have you guys with us. If you are watching us here on YouTube, please check in with us via the chat. Nathan Araya, good to see you. Good evening, sir. Check in with us. Let us know where you're at. Let us know what you're drinking. Having a beer, as I usually do, to talk about Calcio. So that water looks pathetic. We got to ship some more Spotted Cal to you.
I'm trying to stay hydrated, all right? Long podcast.
For bed?
Yeah, well,
after this?
That too.
So
I don't know if you noticed this. This is going to be a theme tonight. I got my Roma Club DC t-shirt on here. For two reasons, right? One, because we got a guest on to talk a little Roma, but two, and it's Roma Club DC. They're based out of the Ireland Four Courts in Alexandria, and it's hosting many clubs, not only Roma but also Milan, Inter, Napoli, many clubs there. And the bar had an accident this weekend. A car crashed into the bar, set on fire. Bar is closed. Displaced many DC club Calcio club teams. So. They're looking for new homes right now, but it's like homage to them, but also honor our guest who's coming on here.
Okay, and well, let's not waste any time. Let's bring our guest, and I believe this is his second cap with Serie A Sitdown. Freelance creator. He's worked with AS Roma English, Italian Football TV, Gentleman Ultra, and Urban Pitch. He's a history adjunct. He's in a Scorsese, really, you are, but he would trade for The Sopranos. He is Wayne Gerard. Wayne, welcome back.
What's up, Serie A? Sit down.
Welcome.
I'm laughing after that intro.
Good to have you with us, and a newlywed too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Life comes at you fast. I went from being
from
being 27 and single and living on my own to 28 engaged and living with somebody else. So it's been a whirlwind. And now I'm 32 and have a house and married and who knows what's next. So brace yourselves.
We understand.
You brace yourself, pal. Yeah. I've got 14 years of marriage and I got a 10 and a 7-year-old. Just
I got a second on the way, so you know.
I see where this is heading.
I look like a handsome younger Al Pacino about 14 years ago. So look at me now.
Only good things coming then.
Yep. It's all wonderful. Trust. Believe me. I kid about it, but it's all been a treat. So
thanks to Anthony just reading those comments.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. We have Greek Wolfhead Coffee Whiskey Liqueur Canada.
Nice.
Okay. I will need to be educated on what you're going to be drunk and wired at the same time. Is basically what
I think I'm a lightweight. Wayne's probably lightweight. Frank, you're probably a lightweight.
No. I'm no lightweight. So I can knock him back.
Oh my goodness. Bob
Canadian whiskey. It sounds like kryptonite.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Bob Lex has joined us too, man. They're all checking in. Chris DeSantis, good to see you, my friend.
Yeah.
Good to have everybody in the chat. Send any questions or reaction to the weekend in the chat. We'll bring it up and talk about it. But with Wayne here, we're going to talk Roma. We're putting the Serie A spotlight on the Giallorossi. Big year ahead for them with everything that has gone on in the summer mercato, and what is expected of Roma as a result. Really, Roma and expectations in the same sentence is usually Roma shouldn't have any expectations, but not this year. There's some big time there. They're the trendy. They're the trendy pick. They're the trendy pick for top four. They're the trendy pick for the Scudetto. They're the it team. Wayne, it's got to be a little bit uncharted territory. How are you navigating it as a Roma fan?
Yeah, it is. It's funny. I see a lot of attention coming towards the club. People who I've never, names that I've never come across, and that comes with like last year Mourinho and now Dybala. So it's players and managers who have followings of their own, and now they join. And through social media, I realized just how big of a deal this actually is, where there's these different avenues which are bringing them over to Roma. And that's so surprising, rather than just like the vintage fan, right? The guy who has been supporting them since the days of Totti or their father and Di Bartolomei. So rather than that historical process, now I see one which is brought together by just superstardom. And it's very interesting. I can't imagine how, like, I don't want to say true, but vintage Manchester City fans or Arsenal fans must have felt when their team was going through an overhaul or a new ownership. And now I see it. It's I don't want to say it's startling, but it's just interesting. It's like one new thing to learn how to navigate, because when you have somebody or a fan that supports an entity rather than the club itself, but that by a byproduct they support the club, it's a weird thing in its own. But it's cool, and ultimately, all that means is that the club is getting bigger, more successful, bigger chances for silverware. So those are great things, and you can't hate on it. But it's just very interesting dynamic.
Yeah, I think last year, obviously Mourinho coming in, a lot of high hopes with him, right? And Frank and I both talked about this, both when Sarri and Mourinho joined their respective clubs, is that both these managers need a second year to really get their influence on this team, right? Both managers play different styles, but what they preach into their teams, it takes a lot of study and practice. And we saw with Mourinho's team got better and better as the year went on. Obviously, you guys won the Conference League, and so good momentum going into this season. And then, like Frank said, all these signings started coming aboard, some big names, some superstars, and now you are the favorite. Well, one of the favorites, I should say. How do you feel? Do you feel top four is pretty almost a certainty? Are you still not there believing that, hey, I want to see how this works yet? I mean, how are you feeling right now? Early stages of this new team that's been assembled here.
I think it's the objective. When it comes time to talk about the word Scudetto, I look at the other teams, which last year Milan and Inter finished more than 20 points ahead of Roma. So there's so much ground to make up. And meanwhile, Roma has actually not spent that much. They've brought a lot of players in, this type of pragmatic mercato, where only 7 million euros have been spent in transfer fees. And I think it's unfair to say that they are candidates for the Scudetto, because the other teams have been stable for a much longer time, and they have more purchasing power overall. And they also are coming off Pioli's third season now with Milan. So right. They've been welded. And Inter, even though that they went from Conte to Inzaghi, they're still very much, they have that backbone in place. Juventus is another. I mean, look at that mercato. It's phenomenal. Di Maria, Pogba comes in, whether if he's going to play the majority of games or not, because it looks like he is. He's going to delay his surgery. Pogba, Di Maria, the best center back in the league with Bremer. The expectations are all on them. So Roma should not have those expectations put on them by the media or social media, but they will be there because of Mourinho, because they brought in big players. But overall, it's because they've done a good job at handling business that's being set upon them. But it really is not justified, I don't think, to put them as a Scudetto candidate.
Let's talk about Jose Mourinho, and maybe some reason why he, Roma might be a Scudetto candidate, even though you have your doubts. We talked at length about what Mourinho has done in his second season at just about every stop. I mean, if you throw Manchester United out, you throw Tottenham out, odd fits for their own reasons. He's won something. He's won something significant too. Porto, he wins the Champions League. Inter, he wins the treble. Chelsea, he wins a second straight Premier League, and then in his second stop at Chelsea, he wins the Premier League again. Do you look at that as a good omen, or do you still walk on eggshells with your confidence level in Mourinho, knowing that any time, he's had a reputation for letting things get sour, and essentially wearing out his welcome. He's a proven winner. I think that, you get away from the brashness of him and you find one of the greatest managers of our time and of our generation. It has to be said. But there's also like I said, there's the stops he's made where he's completely worn out of his welcome. He's flamed out and out he goes. So I don't think that's going to happen with him because this might be one of his last chances. But give us your opinion. Give us what Romanisti feel about Jose Mourinho at this point.
I understand the precedent of winning in the second season, but even if something like that is not achieved, silverware is not, I think that the fans just completely have his back. He is someone that has really bought into the city. And forget about the project or the success for something, but he feels like a part of the fabric that's really being sewn in right now. What he brings upon that also is a mentality shift, and I've really seen it. I've seen this team go from maybe some players who come to Rome and they want to have a vacation, like Pedro, we call him out right now, and they think that they're going to come here at the back end of their career, enjoy some fun in the sun, go to the beach on Mondays, and go to practice on Wednesdays, and they're going to enjoy life. But instead, now what we see is a bit more of a professional side, one that is really hungry and wants to change the way that things have been and start to impose a more football culture around the club, because I think that's something that just got completely carried away in the past decade. So we really start to see something shift. So even if Roma do finish, let's say 5th or 6th, and they're just in Europa League again, and they have a top 8 finish in Europa League, which I think would be underwhelming, that still Mourinho would be supported, because what we've seen thus far is a revolution in the way that not only the team plays, but in the mental aspect. And he's buying into the emotional as well. So it's this perfect storm.
No, I agree about that 100%. Looks like the chat has a lot of questions for you, Wayne. Mr. Bob says, do you think Zaniolo will stay at Roma?
Yes. I really expect him to sign a new contract. He looks to be a perfect piece of this puzzle in the attack. He offers something that none of the other players do, in that he's this starting to be a matured bull in a china shop where you can't really control him. And once he gets on his horse, the kid's going to go. And you're lucky if you can get in his way. And we saw today against Salernitana when this Zaniolo, and I say this Zaniolo because compared to last season, this is another form now. This is the next level. He's so hard to stop. And I think that's because he's loving his football right now. He feels the support of his captain, the teammates around him. And I have to believe that he is enjoying himself. And once he does sign the new contract, he can get that clarity in his mind and how he feels about his career and use that to give him a piece and become even a better player on top of it.
Frank, we talked about last week how, the triumvirate of Di Maria, Vlahovic, and Chiesa would be something special. I think if Dybala and Zaniolo stay healthy, you're looking at the three there already working wonders together against, not only Shakhtar, but today against Salernitana. The chemistry is there, Frank. I think this team can go a long way if they all stay healthy and they stay there, meaning Zaniolo.
I'm with you on that. I mean, in particular, and we'll get into talking about the game here shortly. But I really, really like how the game set up for Zaniolo as it unfolded. Salernitana defensively, you could see it. They put their attention on Abraham. They deemed Abraham the danger man. They doubled over to him, and Zaniolo had just a world of space without the ball, easy to play into. I think he had one where he won the ball and he had a ton of space to attack because there's just so much attention being paid to Tammy Abraham that it made Zaniolo the danger man. Well, now if you shift that over to Zaniolo, and now you've got Zaniolo man marked 1v1, Abraham man marked 1v1, Dybala man marked 1v1, and I think that a lot can get created off of that. So it's very dynamic what that front three can provide. So I feel that. It looks like we had a question here. There's a lot of questions in the chat. I'm actually interested, and I can't remember who asked the question about the stadium, Stadio della Roma.
Oh, yeah,
it feels like it should have been built by now, and Roma should have been moved in. What's going on with that?
So what happened was for 7 to 8 years, the plans at Tor di Valle kept getting renewed. There was always hope. There'd be a downturn in the hopefulness. Then the next day there would be, oh yeah, it's going to happen. And it would be cyclical. Ultimately, it was proven that it's not going to happen. The city did not want it at Tor di Valle, which is right directly south of the city center. So that has gone out of the way. But since then, there's been this renewal of interest, and the plot is right by the Tiburtina train station in the eastern side of Rome. And that looks a little bit more promising. I think the city's on board with it, which they never were with Tor di Valle. So there seems to be this desire to want to work together with the club, which there wasn't from before with the mayor and all the entities that go in with it. Rome is notorious for being a difficult place to get business done inside of. So let's see, but I am hopeful. Right now they're mentioning something 55 to 65,000 seats because they want it to be able to host Champions League finals. So it's going to be somewhere between, now I'm quoting what I've read, something between square and round. So what we come up with will be, that's like the most general answer you could get, I guess. Yeah, something with square or round. We'll see. Like, oh, okay.
At least
I was expecting. So that's what we've got so far. But yeah, the ambition is that it will be able to host a Champions League final. And expected due date as of now, 2027. But who knows? Welcome to Rome.
Yeah, no, for sure. Ali Oxenfree says, now that you've seen the players for a little bit here, some preseason, even in the first game today, what do you think will be the best formation here for Roma going forward?
I think Mourinho reverts back to the 4-2-3-1 if he can get another center back. If he can do that, because I was thinking today, I was talking to my buddy. Right now they're playing a back three. Well, what if one of those guys goes down? Then you insert Kumbulla. But then what? You have Chris Smalling, injury prone. Players who will need to be in rotation because of 3 different tournaments. So then if one of those goes down, Kumbulla steps in, and then what? Like if you go, then does Cristante go down? But then Matic is not a 90-minute player. So what do you do? So I think that the goal for Mourinho is to get back to that 4-2-3-1 and sign another defender this mercato. I really believe that is. I think he mentioned it like less than a week ago that if he had the players, he would go back to that. The 3-4-2-1 was more of something that he thought of to try and get the players that he had at his disposal in the middle of last season to try and work together. So I don't want to call it an emergency, but it's definitely a plan B.
It just kind of goes to the tactical flexibility of Mourinho because throughout his career, I've seen him try so many different formations. Yeah. So, last one for me, it's actually a question from Jake here in our chat about Zeki Celik, who we thought that was what you got him for was a steal, less than 8 million euros from Lille. Does he break into the first team, or is he just there to relieve Karsdorp from time to time? What do you see with the Turkish international there?
I think once they go to a 4-2-3-1, Celik is the man that you want. He's a bit more of a defensive force. And with the counter, you get Spinazzola or Zalewski who can do the attacking, which they really enjoy doing rather than defend first mentality. So
Sure.
I do see Salik as a starter. What happens in the rotation? I'm not sure, but definitely in a season which is going to have 55 plus matches these guys are both going to get plenty of time. So I think he is a starter, but that doesn't mean Karsdorp will not be a starter as well.
Okay.
Very good. Interesting. Let's see. You mentioned how you think another maybe defender's coming here at the end of the window. Anything else you think Roma needs, or what do you think they need to get to that next level?
To be honest, I really liked the attack today, and I can't remember the last time or if ever I looked at this Roma and I was like, oh, they look complete in that area. So wing backs and the attacks I feel very comfortable with. It would have been cool to get in Kostic, but I think that would have been maybe one too many attackers. He was a player I really liked. Of course, he went to Juventus. And the defensive midfield position, to me, is I thought when Lucas Torreira was not signed by Fiorentina, that he would have been the perfect player to come in, especially in a 4-2-3-1.
Right.
But it seems like Mourinho is actually content with Cristante and Matic interchanging. And then on the other side of that pivot is less of a pivot, I think, and more of like a withdrawn. I don't see them working like that, but rather one definitely staying a little bit further back. I bet you that he would like to have Fratesi or someone more box to box in this squad is what I'm thinking. So center back number one, and then if it was possible, someone like Fratesi. And then, of course, if we are to believe the Belotti rumors, which seem pretty true, that would be a really interesting signing as well. And which one, a player that for, like I said, 55 plus games, he gives you such an option, and one that can play with his back to goal, is strong, can hold up the ball, and can interchange with his teammates, which I think is an underrated asset for a number 9.
My last question before we get into the Salernitana game is, you mentioned possibly going to a 4-2-3-1. Who plays the center attacking midfielder, the trequartista in that formation? Is it Dybala? Is it Pellegrini? Zaniolo? Who do you see in that 3 slot?
Based upon today, I want to say it's Pellegrini. Something tells me Dybala, because if you have Dybala at the attacking mid spot, and then Zaniolo on the right, Abraham up top, out left, I could see maybe someone like Zalewski come in as a bit more of a withdrawn wing forward. Or I don't know. I don't know that Gian is going to stick around. Okay. Something tells me like that he's going to be put somewhere else to get more playing time, or even El Shaarawy. So you get a lot of options in that left wing role there, depending on how you want to tactically implement it, whether if they're going to be a bit more attacking or more withdrawn as a support winger rather than a wing forward. So that's a space to watch for sure, because I couldn't give you a straight answer on that.
Fair enough.
All right. So, Richard, let's dive into the Salernitana Roma game for our guest here.
Yes, sir. That's me, huh?
Yeah, that we didn't establish that before the show.
We didn't establish.
You were going to recap that, and then I was going to bash the rest. So,
all right, very good.
This is what happens. This is what happens when it's like your second podcast in 2 weeks, and you hadn't done one like 3 months before that.
Yeah, so. Shaking off the rust, right? Salernitana hosting Roma in this one. Interesting game. Obviously, all eyes are going to be in this game because they want to see what the new players for Roma are going to do. Look at the starting lineups for Roma. We'll start with the home team, right? Luigi Seppe, new goalie for Salernitana. Then they go with Braun, Guillaume, Federico Fazio, someone Wayne knows very well. Antonio Candreva, the guy who doesn't stop crossing the ball, as well as Grigios Castanos, Koulibaly, not the defender one. Vilhena, Mazzocchi, Botheim, and Bonazzoli. Many people know him. Wayne, when you see that lineup today, who on that team really scares you? It's got to be Bonazzoli, right? Or is there someone else that you're seeing in that lineup that really gets you worried about maybe a surprise result could happen?
Bonazzoli can be a game changer, but it's Candreva. He was one of the best, or statistically, one of the players who checked out the most last season. On the right for Sampdoria, I was surprised to see him on Salernitana this season. I thought that he maybe could have been on a mid-table pusher, not like a Sassuolo, but maybe someone like a Torino that he could have got a new lease on his career because he was so impressive, even for a year or two if you sign this player. But he's been around forever, Serie A pro. And if there's anyone who would like to score against Roma, it's an ex-Laziale. So Candreva to me was a very dangerous player. And I thought he did a good job today, as did Mazzocchi. And, of course, Fazio back there. That guy I thought he was pretty good today, actually.
Yeah.
So they held their own.
Frank, and obviously Salernitana have upgraded with Luigi Giuseppe in goal. He's been a proven goalkeeper for Serie A many years, with Parma and some other stops. But that has to be something, a bit of a comfort for Salernitana, knowing that they have actually a quality keeper back there that can maybe steal some goals or wins for them.
Yeah, I mean, on names, this looks like a pretty good team.
Right.
I mean, Tony Vilhena is another one that's got a lot of experience. So, in Castanos as well. I mean, it's an interesting side, and it's an interesting lineup to go at Roma. I looked at this game statistically, and I think that, this game felt like, does it make sense does it sound right to say like neither team really wanted to be superior in possession? I feel like both of these teams are going to thrive on the break and on the counter this season. I don't think that Roma is going to thrive as a possession dominant side. I think they're going to be guys that survive on the break where, you've got Abraham in a high position, Zaniolo can run off it. And then if you can't get it directly to one of those two guys, then Dybala is coming through the midfield where he can get it and he can find those guys and get the counterattack going. And then it's the same thing for Salernitana when you look at them. It's, they want to break, but they want to break through Candreva, who could, get forward and pump in crosses. He's got 2 targets to hit with Bonazzoli. And with it, how do you pronounce this guy? Botheim or Botheim? Okay. This is what happens when I don't have my readers. So when I've got to read small print. So, so it's, and then Fazio is, dare I say it, he's been pretty good. Ever since he went to Salernitana, we kind of joked. We were like, Salernitana, when they signed him, said Salernitana is confirming their relegation by signing Federico Fazio. Right. But he's been serviceable. So it's a decent side. I mean, it's still not one that I think stays up because they should not have stayed up after this past season. Cagliari should still be in this league if they knew how to score. But, it's what it is.
All right, well, let's get over to Roma's lineup here real quick. Rui Patricio in goal, obviously. Back 3 of Mancini, Smalling, and Ibanez with Karsdorp on the right, Spinazzola on the left. You have Pellegrini, Cristante, Dybala, Zaniolo, and then, of course, Tammy Abraham. All eyes, obviously, on the new players, Wayne. Thoughts on the introductions of Dybala and Wijnaldum today? How do you think they fared with this lineup, and what was your overall thoughts on the lineup?
Exciting. Dybala just fits in so seamlessly. It's like what they've been missing. And Wijnaldum, I was so happy to see him get some time as well. I thought he had the goal, but then it was judged that Dybala was offside. So immediately you see the 2 new guys making a goal-scoring action. So, I mean, as a fan, what more could you want than to see that? But Wijnaldum is somebody who takes up the quality of play, very much so. He's a guy he's won before. He's an all-out player. He brings that total Dutch football mentality to a team, like Frank said, that really does want to sit back more than take it to the other team. And I think we saw those lulls today where it seemed a bit stagnant. Like, well, what's happening here? And they're both kind of just spreading it between the back 4 and content to hang out between, in the middle of their half. So that's what you see right there. But super exciting. And also Spinazzola, his re-entry is a new signing in itself. So that's been a lot of fun. And I thought he had a great game too.
Yeah, no, he certainly looked lively today for sure. First half, really, There was, a surprising amount of chances for Salernitana, Frank, in this one in the first half. But I thought, Roma looked the most dangerous of the group. And it seems like we talked about this a couple minutes ago, is that the front three of Zaniolo, Dybala, and Abraham seemed to be feeding off each other, and they kept getting closer and closer. It seemed like as the minutes went on in that first half, you're like, a goal has to be coming. But what did you make of Salernitana being able to have some attacks, some counterattacks there and get some opportunities?
I think that Salernitana must have found themselves to be surprised to have as much of the ball as they did. Watching them in this game, there were periods of possession from them where they didn't seem like they knew what they wanted to do with it, and I think that that's what led to some of the counterattacking situations that Roma created.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of the one that Zaniolo nearly just went solo, as a classic example. So that jumps out at me. It's like it was you have the ball. No, you have the ball. No, you have the ball. We want you to have more of the ball. We like to counter. No, we like to counter. I mean, it literally felt that way watching this match. So,
yeah.
So it's I mean, it wouldn't. But the Salernitana team can create some things, certainly. And I think it has to do with when you look at, Cristante and Pellegrini together in the middle of the park is not, are we now to believe that Cristante is this great tackler and ball winner? Because I don't know if Pellegrini is really that. Pellegrini is very technical, can find a pass from that position. And that's probably what his function is, more than trying to be a ball winner or a tackler. So when Mourinho started with these two guys, it's like, all right, well, if Salernitana does come at you, which of these two guys protects the back three? Okay, because it doesn't, Cristante can do it, but isn't that why you signed Matic? So, so it was kind of confusing to me, so to speak.
Yeah. And I think like Wayne said, Matic doesn't have 90 minutes in him. If he did, he'd definitely be starting, or maybe he eventually would get 90 minutes in himself, but he's not there yet. And so you have to put someone else in there, and you obviously don't have Sergio Oliveira anymore. And so Cristante seems to be, playing fairly well at times. He does that role better than I think a center back position, for him. For me, I think Cristante is certainly much better in the midfield. I'm glad to say he's there as opposed to the defense. But Wayne, this game was begging for a goal. We thought the front three were going to get a goal, and eventually the ball moving around all over the pitch. Ball comes back out. Cristante with his left foot somehow gets it past a bunch of defenders, past the goalkeeper, past Giuseppe, and into the back of the net. A relief for you, I think, because I finally got that goal and looked like it was never going to come.
Yeah, it's one that comes because they just purely suffocate the net. They got enough players up to surround it, and eventually it hit the right guy in the right place. It was a great goal by Cristante, and one that I think he's deserved. He's been a guy that's kind of unsung in the past 6 months, one that's really grown, and he's become a really important part to Mourinho's team, his project. He's mentioned this in press conferences before, how much he likes Cristante on the pitch and how he wishes that, along with Pellegrini, that he could have like 11 of these guys. So they're really important to how he plays. He comes with a big goal. It was very good. And overall, I'm happy. Like, I'm not in this halftime, right? We come across a 1-0 or 0-1 lead. And I think maybe some Roma fans, or in the past, we would have felt like, oh gosh, anything could happen now.
Yeah.
But the maturity of this team, which was evident just in the first 45 minutes, I did not feel like that at all. I felt like Salernitana was going to have to push up a little bit, and Roma would counter and get another goal. And at times, they were so close to doing that. So I wasn't worried. I felt much less stressed, I think, than in seasons past, for definitely. And just to add, like Pellegrini right there, I'm not sure that is his best position. I saw him give the ball away once or twice, but I think that the idea there was that Roma would press up a little bit more and he could facilitate that passing between the lines. Just my thought on what Mourinho was thinking.
Yeah. And Frank, I thought once that goal went in, we were going to see a lot more goals. Obviously, with the halftime 1-0, we're like, okay, well, it's still up plenty of time. Roma had their opportunities in this, right? Lots of opportunities, lots of near chances. Wayne talked about the Wijnaldum goal that was, that didn't count. ends 1-0, but I think what we can take away is that, this team is different. I mean, that learning experience of winning the Conference League last year, I think, to Wayne's point, they feel more comfortable in these situations and they don't feel rushed. Obviously, Mourinho loves these kind of games as opposed to anything else because he loves, having that defensive masterclass. But what are your thoughts on overall game? Because, should have been more scoreline. I think the neutral and certainly maybe some Romanisti were thinking, hey, we should have scored 2-3 goals on Salernitana, but it wasn't that bad of a result, I think.
No, it's not. And I think that ultimately, when you look at it on the whole, on the 90 minutes, this was a comfortable 1-0 win for Roma, if 1-0 wins are ever comfortable. Salernitana had a little of the ball. They had their attacks. Was Rui Patricio ever troubled? No, not really. So on a different day, this is especially with the chances Zaniolo should have probably had a hat trick in the first half. That'll come. He will convert those opportunities. Dybala will have more influence as we go, and I thought he was all right in this game. Certainly he created his own chances. All of them got chances in this game, really. To one degree or another. But I thought it was a game that Roma was in control in particularly from when Cristante scored. So, yeah, as I said, I mean, if there's ever a comfortable 1-0 win, this is it. And a good start because, we'll talk about some of these other results that happened. We'll talk about tomorrow's games, but, Roma winning at Salernitana 1-0. Inter winning at the last second at Lecce 2-1. That matters. Okay. So fine. You didn't go out and bury them 5-0. Okay. But you got 3 points, at places that these teams, Lecce, Salernitana, you're talking about two teams that are going to scratch and claw for every point they can get.
Right.
And that makes them dangerous to play against, especially at their track. So if you can go there and get 3 points, there's going to be some teams you're going to be contending with that are not going to get 3 points there. So it's a good start for Roma. It's a good overall performance. I thought it was an efficient performance from them. I think that, more goals will come from them. It has to, especially with that trio up front.
Yeah.
And especially with the service that they can get in the wingback positions. But in the meantime, right now, you take your 3 points and you move on. What do we keep saying on this podcast for years? It's not style. It's not about style points. It's about 3 points.
Exactly.
So, and then that's what Roma did today, and good on them for doing so.
Wayne, final thoughts on this game before we let you get out of here. Happy with this result? I mean, like Frank said, it felt comfortable. What did you feel?
I really go along exactly with that. I'm reading a quote right now from Mourinho's post-interview, and he said, "I am pleased. Perhaps one of you will write that Zaniolo and Dybala could have scored 2 or 3 goals, but I only saw that both of them had great games." And that's the truth. Like, yeah, of course they could have, but really, in the big picture, what they did have was great games. And if those two are clicking together and this team can really gel, it's a scary thing. Yeah, you don't want to think certain things as a fan, but man, who can stop them? I want to see them take out some giants this year because that was the problem last year.
Week 3, Juventus.
Just
saying. I think everyone's gonna be talking about Zaniolo and Dybala not scoring or it's 1-0 game, but you guys kept a clean sheet and really Rui Patricio was not threatened at all. That's pretty good defensively. You get Cremonese next week, should be much of the same. You never know with these young upstarts from Serie B, but it's a good way to walk into Juventus in week 3. I think we said, Frank and I talked about this last week. Let's see what Roma's made of when they play their first test, which will be Juventus. If they knock off a win there, everyone's eyes are going to be like, okay, maybe we are talking Scudetto, but it's obviously still early days. Thank you, for coming on today. Anything? This is your time here before you leave. Anything you want to plug?
Just my YouTube. My YouTube. I've been taking steps here and there. Not here and there, actually, a lot at a time. This summer, I've been really working on it. Just got I was talking to the guys before we came on set. My microphone has been really working on audio quality. This is my spare bedroom in my home that I've been trying to make my little YouTube studio. So it's Wayne in Rome. It's youtube.com/Wayne in Rome. I've been, I think, what's the word? Putting out content like every week. I know there's a word for that. Consistently. That's what I'm looking at. Consistently putting out content. Really want to make it something that grows. Just like this, I look at Serie A Sitdown, and it's beautiful looking, and it's a great conversation. So credit to you guys. I'm on Instagram as well, and of course Twitter. So just check out my stuff. Thanks.
Wonderful, Wayne. We got to do this again real soon. So
yeah, for sure.
Maybe a Derby della Capitale will bring you on. So.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great. And by the way, I must have said it 3 days ago. Oh, I can't wait to get to what's it called, Four Corners in DC.
Yeah, Four Courts.
Four Courts. I was like, I can't wait to get there. And then yesterday I saw that a car hit the building.
Yep.
It's a shame.
It is.
I was like, what? No. So
but
hopefully
I'll let you know.
okay
I'll let you know where Robo Club DC moves to. I keep close contact with those guys, so I'll let you know where they end up going to. So
yeah, cool.
For sure.
And you've become a Roma guy now. I think Solano early on but we always brought him on would always bring him on like the week that Milan would play Roma, and I did that on purpose because I started catching on to the idea that every time we brought Solano on, Roma would lose. So I just made sure that I brought him on when Milan played Roma. So, and then he finally caught on to it too. But I know he and Nima and Carlo are obviously doing the Italian football podcast and are very busy with that. So that's why it's hard to get him these days. But
yeah.
But
cool.
But nonetheless, Wayne, it was great. Your next cap's going to come around real soon.
Cool. Looking forward.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Have a wonderful
Thank you.
night.
Peace, guys.
Good night.
See ya.
You bet. So that was Wayne Gerard, once again, at Wayne in Rome on Twitter. And did he say that was his Instagram as well?
Yeah, exactly. Nathan, I want to give a shout out to Nathan. He runs Milan Club DC, and he says the Roma Club DC went in Bocca al Lupo for the match today. So
okay,
there you go, Wayne.
There you go.
Beautiful.
All right, so that's where the Roma Club DC is going to be at. Is that where they're going to be for future games, Nathan? Just let us know.
At least for the time being, yeah. At least for the time being.
So that some of our DC listeners that are Roma supporters, or if they just want to come out and and hang out with them, that's where they're going to be. So let's move on to the rest of match day one. Richard, it started on Saturday. It started with the champions at the San Siro, Milan hosting Udinese. I wanted to verify this before the podcast. I couldn't find it. Anytime goal odds for Rodrigo Bacao, not just this game, but to be the first goal scorer in Serie A this season. It had to be really, really long. But nonetheless, a great, you know what? And Milan fans were getting all pissed off about giving up an early goal and all this other stuff. I'm just going to say this as a Milan supporter. That was a brilliant corner by Deulofeu and a brilliant finish by Bacao. And as good as Milan's defense is, they're not stopping that. No team in this league is stopping that. That was perfection. And Udinese goes up a 0-0. Incident in the 9th minute. Cornrows there in goal there. Silvestri. God damn it. What an awful look, by the way.
He loves black salt, okay? Leave him alone.
That's just... Somebody's got to have a conversation with him about that. But
I think Teo Hernandez was.
Was he? Okay.
I don't know.
Spills it. Calabria goes for it, gets a touch on it, gets brought down by Sopi, and then this goes and gets reviewed. And the penalty is awarded. It is the trailing leg of Sopi that catches Calabria and makes contact and brings him down. This is a penalty. If this happened to Inter, this is a penalty. If this happened to Juventus, this is a penalty. If this happened to Napoli, this is a penalty. You know where I'm getting at, Richard.
I don't know why people didn't think this was a penalty. Obviously, they're gonna
because it's Milan. That's why
yeah, but this is a clear stone penalty for me. I'm like, you take the man out in the box. So it's a penalty.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if the ball was in the area. He took a man out. He didn't have the ball. Penalty.
Yeah, you want to go see robbery in terms of calls? Go ask Chelsea fans today how they feel about Anthony Taylor. So just wow. But Teo Hernandez would convert the penalty, make it 1-1. 4 minutes later, a goal of the week candidate. Nice little V move by Brahim Diaz. Sets clear Calabria, who crosses it. Ante Rebic finishes it 2-1. Milan controlling the match until the 45 plus 4th minute. Adam Messina basically catches Junior Messias napping on the back post, cuts in front of him on a Roberto Pereira cross, 2-2 at halftime. But we didn't, how would Milan react? Well, we only needed about 34 seconds into the second half. A cross from Teo Hernandez, and I believe it was Messina trying to head the ball out for a corner and just hits the wrong part of his head. It falls invitingly to Diaz. Diaz slides it in. 3-2. And then in the 68th minute, after some nice pressing there between Messias and Diaz, they get the ball. Diaz finds Ante Rebic. Rebic gets his brace. It's 4-2. Debut for Charles de Ketelaere. Now, I say de Ketelaere only because that's what I heard it from just Belgian League highlights and listening to how they were pronouncing it. And the Paramount Plus guys are calling him de Ketelaere. We're going to figure out how to pronounce this guy's name.
Charles de Ketelaere.
De Ketelaere? Okay. So
there's videos going on Twitter about it, about him saying it. Milan has a video about it too. So
they do. Okay, so that's fine then. So Milan go on and win 4-2. A pretty not necessarily a complete performance. There certainly were they certainly came with their flaws, but superior in possession and chances in that game for the Rossoneri. At the same time, speaking of referee decisions, Sampdoria was hosting Atalanta. We thought we had a goal in the 16th minute for Francesco Caputo. Somebody needs to explain to me what that foul was, because I didn't see a foul.
Yeah, I at first I thought that was the robbery of the weekend. I thought there was no foul, and just before we came on, I was looking at some different angles on that play, and you saw that the elbow of the Sampdoria player came up and hit the guy in the face. It's ever so slight. It's a weak call, if that's what they did, but the elbow was to the face. It wasn't obvious, but the one angle that I saw showed that the elbow. That I think it was a robbery, still the soft penalty, or soft take disallowance of the goal. But his elbow was up. I saw it in one replay. I couldn't see it in any other replay except for the one I saw just a couple minutes ago. And I changed my tune after I saw that. But it's very close.
I thought it was a sad call, to be honest. I thought that I didn't see anything. I honestly didn't see anything wrong with it, but nonetheless, Sampdoria are deprived of a goal there. 26th minute, Atalanta would score. A ball coming in for Pasalic, who heads it across for Rafael Toloi to make it 1-0. It would be halftime there. And then we wouldn't see a second goal until the 95th minute after Sampdoria feverishly pressed. There was a free kick. Our boy Sabiri, who we were high on in the preview, keep watching out for him. Big reason why Antonio Candreva isn't there anymore. He's handling a lot of the set piece stuff and had a free kick at the post, among other things, and some of the things that he was creating. He was fantastic in this game, by the way. And how did he not come away with a goal? This is a rising star that's not going to be at Sampdoria very long. So he's worthy of being in our intro, but this Pedro Lazio thing, Richard, you got to do something about it. So this, Jerry can only pay us so much, and then he's going to start sending Nutella, and then we're going to have to
Nutella.
And then we're just going to no. Nutella doesn't pay bills. So, but it was Ademola Lookman getting his debut goal, another guy that we're really high on.
Yeah.
With his prospects. So Atalanta winning by 2-0. Lecce and Inter. My first victory lap on Romelu Lukaku. My pick for Capocannonieri only needed 2 minutes to reintroduce himself to Serie A, making it 1-0. Just about the only fit center back for Lecce goes out in the 21st minute. Those are Lecce fans UK had to be like, how are we going to do this now?
Yeah.
But they come out in the 48th minute and score. It's Hassan Cisse getting the leveler there in the 48th minute. And then after that, Lecce defended for dear life, defended for that point. Inter had chance after chance after chance. It would be in the 95th minute where Denzel Dumfries scores and wins the game for Inter 2-1. Bedlam there. The bench clears. They all go and celebrate.
Yeah.
Come on, Inter. You've done this before. It's at Lecce. It's the first game of the season.
Yeah.
So, but to the commentators' credit on that game, said, you know what? This may not seem significant now, but when you get to May,
huge.
These extra 2 points might mean a lot, in the grand scheme of things. So, I thought that was a very interesting point. Let's see. So now finally that Monza, the long anticipated return of Berlusconi and Galliani with Monza, and they hosted Torino. Alexei Miranchuk, I had no idea that Miranchuk went to Torino until I saw him out there playing.
Yeah. Should be big this year for him.
Yep, and I think that that's a really nice fit, especially in Ivan Juric's system. So, and good to see him get some playing time. He scores. He was played in by Antonio Sanabria, who was fantastic in this game. He would score himself a goal of the week candidate. I think it's the goal of the week, actually. I mean, yeah, fine, it's 2 yards away, but there is a huge degree of difficulty with what he's doing there. To finish that chance. 66th minute, played in by Samuel Ricci. Monza would get their goal, maybe deserved a little more out of this game than they got, but it would be Danny Motta in the 94th minute, making it 2-1. Monza showed some pretty good stuff despite losing at home to Torino. So let's keep watching them. We think they're staying up, and certainly played like a team that's going to give some people some trouble. Sanjar Hussein, hello. Anthony thinks Monza have a lot of work to do. I just think it's startup issues for a promoted team. I think that once they gel, they're going to be fine. There's a lot of talent there. And I thought that they were serviceable here in their performance against Torino, but we'll see. Fiorentina against Cremonese. And this starts off 16 minutes in with Jack Bonaventura scoring on a pass from Christian Kwame. Good to see Kwame back and getting regular opportunities. Lively. And with a good team, and not with Genoa. And then 3 minutes later, David Okereke coming in and scoring for Cremonese. And amazing when you play Okereke, he actually scores. Hey, Venezia, we're talking to you.
Yeah.
So 1-1 there. And then the probably one of the steal signing of the summer, in Serie A that you could argue, Luka Jovic coming over for free to play in that striker role for Vincenzo Italiano. We say it's the system. Yep. Luka Jovic is going to thrive in this system, scoring in the 34th, putting Fiorentina ahead 2-1. But 43rd minute, Cremonese's problems would escalate as Escalante got sent off. See what I did there?
Dad jokes.
Yes, bad jokes. We've got them here at Serie A Sitdown. That is for sure. So we can identify pasta shapes.
That's right.
So, all right. So then in the 68th minute, it was Matteo Bianchetti equalizing for Cremonese, but it wasn't even okay. It's really, really comical that Rolando Mondragora gets credit for this goal.
I know.
Because this is all about Radu.
Yes.
Yes. And just,
poor
you
guy.
Feel bad for the guy. Suddenly now the Leon Lett of Serie A.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
At least so
yeah, they both won titles, I guess.
Yep, it was. It's what it was. I mean, this was Fiorentina. Just Fiorentina dominance, really. 28 shots, 11 on target, and really, it kind of being harsh on Radu because I mean. He had to make a lot of saves to help keep Cremonese in it up until that point. So, I mean, it's like on the one end, you want to look at Radu and point at him and laugh, but at the other one, said he played really damn well up until that point.
Yeah.
So 3-2 there. Lazio and Bologna. You got to forgive Luis Maximiliano. He must have came from a league where they can use their hands outside the box. So he got sent off 6 minutes in. Bologna get a penalty. In the 38th, it was Arnautovic. Bologna are man advantage. Everything's going well Adamo Samaro in the 40th minute gets a yellow card, right? So it's like, okay, you're on a yellow, dude. You're going to have to stay on your feet. You're going to have to compose yourself. But 48th minute. Oh, Bologna.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to be this year. If you're a Bologna supporter, I feel for you. He goes to ground, rush of blood to the head, and yes, connects with the Lazio player, gets his second yellow, gets sent off. 2 bookings in the space of about 8 minutes to make it 10v10 and give Lazio a lifeline. Lorenzo Di Silvestri turns one into his own net in the 68th minute, and then Ciro Immobile in the 79th. Very nicely timed run, very nicely weighted pass by Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, giving Lazio a 2-1 win. We talked about the Roma Salernitana game. The other game of note, Spezia. If there's an example of shithousery this weekend, it came from Spezia. Luca Gotti seems to have them wanting to play this way. Mbala and Zola scoring one of 2 shots on target for Spezia. Empoli, 18 shots, 5 on target. And just could not get something out of it. I mean, I look at this Empoli team, and that's going to be fun. You know, Destro had his chances and missed. Lammers is really good. Bayrami, Marin. Probably unlucky to not come away with at least a point there away at Spezia. Richard, where do you want to go first?
Let's start with the reigning champs, Milan. I think you put it right that they look good. They look, whenever they got challenged, they punched right back. Took the lead. Obviously in that. Obviously have some hiccups that need to go away, but I think overall I was impressed with the team. I think the new signings, the Catalare looked very smooth and efficient. Origi was nice to see out there. All the players really out there. I don't know if any Milanese caught this, but there's a play in the game. I think it was maybe in the first half. But Becao did like a punch to the back of Rebic's head, and Krunic got it in right away and went after him. And they both got yellow cards on that play. And you love to see that fight by Krunic. The team is really together. And we talked about teams like Monza and some of these other teams need a gel and stuff like that. Milan are gelled already. They're together. They're one cohesive unit, and so you love to see that there. Atalanta, Sampdoria, again, we talked about that goal that was taken away from Sampdoria, but Atalanta, other than that, they kept a shutout for the most part. Oh, they did. They kept a shutout. Good to see some of the goals that they had in that game. Nothing really too crazy, I guess, to say with that game.
Was Atalanta lucky?
I don't know. It's too early to tell. I want to say it was intentional, every bit of it. But I don't know. I want to see a couple more games to see if that was just a fluke, they got lucky, or what was going on there. But I think it was intentional, but I'm not positive, really. Honestly, it's too early to tell. This is the team. This is like a Jekyll and Hyde team that we never know what the heck they're thinking, and whether Gasparini's planned this or not. You never know with them. So I don't know. Inter Lecce. Obviously, a decent performance by Inter. They still won the game. Dumfries got the game-winning goal at the end. Dumfries, I think, played very well in this game. What I noticed about Lukaku, obviously, he got the goal. He's finding himself in the right position, right? Preseason, he scored some goals, but he's not the same Lukaku. He's a little bit bigger than he was when he was previously at Inter. So I don't know if he's going to have that pace still that he did previously. Before, he was just a bull in the china. He was a monster before. I don't know if he still has that. He's still going to be almost unbeatable in the box, but some of that play, we remember back a couple years ago in the Derby della Madonnina, this blowing by Romagnoli or this and that with all that speed. I don't know if he has that anymore. He looks bigger than he did, with his time at Chelsea, obviously getting some weight, but he still knows how to score a goal. I think he'll be fine going forward, whether he has a pace or not. They have so much talent on that team. This is a good team there. Torino Monza, I agree with that. Sanabria was fantastic in this game. I thought that goal was marvelous by him. It's difficult to do, right? It was going to be wide, and he got it in the net. 2 feet away, 40 feet away, it doesn't matter. It doesn't care how the sausage gets made, right? As long as it goes in. Fiorentina Cremonese was crazy. Immobile getting back to the score sheet. I'm going to end this with Empoli. I think Empoli is going to be better than I thought they were. I think Destro is going to be a really nice fit. He had many opportunities in this game. It just that Spezia stopped him every time. I think Destro is going to have be able to eat and score a lot of goals like he did last year. So look out for Destro and Empoli to have a decent season. I'm not saying top 10, but I mean they may get 15th. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's Spezia. It's a team that we think is going to be in a relegation fight. But, I mean, on the strength of Empoli's performance overall, I think they're going to give people some problems this season. Plenty of quality in their team. Probably, as we mentioned, unlucky not to get out of there with a point at the bare minimum. So, we'll see how this progresses for them. I thought, Marin was solid playing through the midfield. I mean, they're looking exactly the way we talked about them last week. Yeah. Now they just need to provide some goals here. So
I think Sanchez bring up some good points that I didn't bring up during the Milan game. Rebic looked good as a striker. I agree about that. And Diaz was very impressive, I think, in this game. His footwork, his passing ability, his ability to find the open man and get into spaces that maybe he had no business get into, like the assist on the last goal. So good game for both of those.
Sure, I agree. I mean, I think the other games that I would take a look at and talk about. I mean, I think I don't have a good answer on Lazio yet. I don't know what to make of them yet. I mean, this looked like a game that they were probably going to go on and lose because they were going to play a man down, and then Samaro does them a favor.
Yeah.
And gives them a chance to win. I mean, I think that it probably at this point maybe cements what I think Lazio is going to be. And I said it last week. I said a low-end European finisher. I mean, 6th, 7th, and I think last week I rattled them off as 7th.
Yeah.
I'm concerned with some of the defensive naivete from Fiorentina.
Yeah. 2 goals to Cremonese. That's nothing to shine their shoes on. When they play some of the big boys, you're worried that they may give it more, right? But offensively, you like what you see from them. I agree with you. I think Luka Jovic is going to be a fantastic. He's just a plug and play person for them, and he's going to fit nicely. He's going to get double-digit goals easily. And good to see Jack Bonaventura still doing his thing at the rightful age of 75. So it's really good. I think Fiorentina is going to be a fun bad, but more on the fun side.
Yep. Who sustains what they did this week is going to be the question. You argue that Milan will probably be better than this.
Defensively, yeah.
They'll clean some of this stuff up. I think Udinese are going to be okay here.
I agree.
I don't think that they're in any danger of relegation or anything like that. It looks like they've got some things that they can cause some problems. Sampdoria, I thought, played really well against Atalanta.
Yeah.
They didn't trouble Musso for the most part, except for the free kick off the post by Sabirdi that we saw.
Yeah.
They might be the least likely of all these teams we're talking about to sustain that kind of level of play because we've seen things go south under Giampaolo, but maybe with Juricic, Sabiri, with some of these playmakers, a fresh look. It might be a little bit different. You got to get Caputo scoring goals. You got to get Quagliarella scoring goals. That's the big key. The problem is, I mean, look at the other teams, and look at some of the top teams and why they do so well. They have strikers that are dynamic. Lukaku at Inter. Milan have, Rebic playing really well. Giroud can score goals. We'll see what Origi can do. Napoli have Osimhen. Juve have Vlahovic. I mean,
yeah,
the list goes on and on. Abraham at Roma, Immobile at Lazio. Okay, Sampdoria have Francesco Caputo and Fabio Quagliarella. Guys that were at one point pretty dynamic, but they're older now, and they're not going to move defenders, and they're not going to unbalance defenders.
Yeah.
That's the overall concern I have with Samp. Where you look at Empoli's got a couple of fresh young strikers right now with Destro and Lammers, where it looks pretty interesting. So So Sampdoria right now, I mean, if you're talking about sustaining or building or improving, I think out of the 16 teams we watch, I would find Sampdoria to be maybe the least likely to be able to sustain this.
Okay.
And I think the teams that I think will most likely, the teams at the top that we watched, are going to be the ones that are going to most likely get better as we go along. Milan are going to clean up a lot of their stuff. Inter aren't going to be in dogfights like that all season long. That was a case of, okay, Lecce back up, have a chance to get a point off of one of the contenders and just fighting like hell for it, and Inter finding a way to get one late. And then Roma, I think that's the kind of performance that today it's 1-0. In a couple of months, it's going to be 3-0.
Yeah. I think of all the teams from this weekend, honestly, I think the teams that can sustain what they did in opening week would be probably the two Roman clubs, Lazio and Roma. I think Roma looked comfortable. They had a lot of scoring opportunities. They could probably score a lot more goals, obviously, but they looked very comfortable in that match. Kept a clean sheet defensively. They're pretty solid. And Lazio, same thing. I mean, obviously they had the punch in the first couple minutes where Pagliuca showed up to them and they lost the goalie, but they fought their way back. And once it was 10 versus 10, you saw the Lazio, what you were expecting, a little bit more domination and freewheeling and scoring goals and stuff like that. So yeah, I think those are probably the only two that'll sustain what they did in terms of on the upside. Everyone else, like you mentioned, all the rest of the top seven sisters, they're all going to improve. They're going to have to. We haven't seen Napoli or Juventus yet, but I think for sure.
Yep. Jerry Mancini, Connor McDavid, game winner for Lazio.
He's everywhere, that guy.
I don't know what to say to that.
All
right. I want to let's address Bob's question here. I like that. Who do you think will be the breakout star this season? Okay, let's take away the Seven Sisters and potentially Fiorentina. Let's remove them from the equation because
mine right away off.
What's that?
You took mine away right away, but that's good. That's fine.
Well, no, who are we going to say?
I'd say Luka Jovic.
Okay,
kind of an easy one almost.
Yeah, it's low hanging fruit though. I mean, it's a striker in Italiano system, so
fair enough.
It's set up. I mean, it's set up for him. The Serie A sit down people come to see us for we do the deep dive. We do the digging. We come up with the names that are on those mid-table, middling teams that are going to work their way up. Oh, it's Sabiri.
Oh yeah, Sabiri for sure.
Sabiri for Sampdoria for me. I think is going to be, as long as Giampaolo doesn't screw him up, I think there's a real star there. Abdelhamid Sabiri. He's a German international, believe it or not. So probably going to have a hard time finding his way onto Flick's Germany. But incredibly technical player. And good on the set piece, good on the dead ball, good in open play. I mean, he created a ton. I think he took 7 shots in this game against Atalanta yesterday. And we were high on him last week, and we're his individual performance against Atalanta justified it.
Yeah, no, that's a good shot. Let's see who I want to take. A lot of good guys out there I saw so far.
I will point out before you go on. I depending on what happens with Raspadori and maybe he stays at Sassuolo, I do have a thought that maybe Agustin Alvarez comes up and plays really, has it.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
I think there's 15 goal upside for him if Raspadori somehow is not in the picture. If he is, then Alvarez is going to probably be a backup and maybe might score 7 to 9 goals. So
yeah, no, that's a good shout. First name that came to mind with me, you look over at Empoli, and we kind of picked a couple guys last year from Empoli. We thought that we're going to do well. They actually did really do well. Both Zalewski and Bayarmi, we know for a while now, right? But
yep.
Sam Lammers is someone who we've known, and he hasn't got the pitch time yet. And I think he can really shine with the pitch time at Empoli, as well as Liam Henderson. I'm curious with him because I was impressed with him today.
Yeah.
Despite the loss, I think he will become a solid center back, center midfielder. Paired with Razvan Marine, who we were both very high on. I think that's a good person to be your learning partner there. I think Liam Henderson could have himself a pretty decent season, honestly, for Empoli. So they got that there. Nzola also from Especia. We'll wait for him to break out. He looked decent here, in today's game against Empoli, but got the goal. I wasn't sure about his celebration there, but I think we've known about him for a while there. And there was someone from Sassuolo that I was thinking about before the show. Like, names escape me now. I got to look at the players' names.
Is that Conradson?
No, yeah, you talked about him last week, and I agree with you 100% on there. It'll come back.
Traore?
No, we've talked about Traore many times already. I don't know. It'll come back to me later, but let's go with the Empoli guys for now, and Nzola from Spezia.
Yep. I mean, and that's what we're talking about. I mean, it's easy to talk about the teams from the top. Who the breakout guys are. We're trying to just dive a little bit deeper. Watch these guys. We're fans of. We're big on trying to find the guys you better know about before everybody else figures out that hey, these guys are good. We want them.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Juve implode this season.
Here's hoping. Well, let's jump into those games that are going to be going on tomorrow, Richard. We got Hellas Verona hosting Napoli, and we've got let's start with and Juventus hosting Sassuolo. Let's start with that Hellas Verona Napoli game. Overall, as a fixture, Napoli it's been a mixed bag for them. Napoli won at Hellas Verona. Let's see. I'm just trying to find out. Okay. Napoli won at Hellas Verona back in March 2-1, but that's because Hellas Verona had had two players sent off. But you go back and look at this, it has not been the 3 games previous, couple of draws. Hellas Verona winning 3-1, Napoli winning at Hellas Verona 2-0 back in June of 2020 during that COVID period. And then prior to that, Napoli pretty much owned Hellas Verona. I think what if the last 4 games are any indication, when these two teams have played each other, there should be goals in this game. And it's not crazy to not, it's not a crazy hypothesis here either. You got a Napoli team that is retooling without Kalidou Koulibaly. By the way, what a banger he scored for Chelsea today.
Yeah.
With Rahmani and Kim likely the center back pairing there now. And then you've got Hellas Verona. You've got Barak, Lasagna, Henry might be the front 3, if you will, in a 3-4-2-1.
Yeah. Cholito. He's going off to Napoli.
Yep, he's off to Napoli. So you wonder if he's going to have. It'll be the first game for Kavica. We'll see what he can do. I think there's goals in this game for both teams. I'm going to say Napoli are going to sweat this one. They'll win 2-1. Okay. I think that they will. There'll be a little bit of a struggle. Hellas Verona will come out firing. They'll probably get the early goal, and then Napoli will comfortably work their way back into the game, come from behind, get 3 points, 2-1 for Napoli. That's where I'm going on this one.
Yeah, it's a pretty good shout. Obviously Cholito going from Hellas over to Napoli. My big question there is he gonna be the backup? How do you have a 17-goal guy as your backup, or do they play together? Typically, what Spalletti does is has a one striker system, but maybe they can figure something out where they get both of them on the pitch at the same time. They're both really good goal scorers, both Osimhen and Cholito Simeone. But that notwithstanding, I think this should be a closer game because Hellas seems to always come out the gates very well. They start out the season always like chopping the bit, getting all these results, and then they start fading as the season goes on. And I think you're right. I think they're going to make Napoli sweat. I mentioned last week, I think this is a very good Napoli squad. I picked them to finish third this season in the preseason prediction. I like the moves they've made, and that's even before they got Simeone, right? Now they got a backup striker or a co-striker or whatever you want to call it. But again, Hellas starts out well usually, and so I think they're gonna make it tough. And I like your 2-1 scoreline. I do. I was really thinking about Thomas Henry or who's gonna step up. Is it gonna be Kevin Lasagna? Who's gonna be that take Simeone's position there? And Henry, we saw Okereke what he can do with a good team. I think Thomas Henry can do very well with Hellas Verona this year, and look out for him to have a breakout season too. We talked about Okereke last year. Henry now is on a good team, and maybe he'll get some chance to score here if he's the main striker there. So good tight game, I think. But I agree, Napoli's going to win that game.
Yep. And then moving on, we got Juventus and Sassuolo. These teams have met 11 straight games of 3 or more goals in this game. When they meet. And then 12 of the last 13 fixtures, and we're going all the way back to September of 2016. So there will be, I expect there to be goals in this game as well. You also got Andrea Pinamonte over there at Sassuolo too. It should be said.
Yeah.
So maybe Alvarez is probably
getting
pushed further and further back, even though he has been scoring in preseason. It's going to be very interesting to see what Sassuolo do here. But you've got Pinamonte, you've got Raspadori, you've got by the way, Domenico Berardi still plays for Sassuolo.
Unbelievable.
And Davide Fratese still plays for Sassuolo. This is a decent team that they're going to throw at this Juve side that expects to start Quadrado and Di Maria to flank Vlahovic if you're just looking at SofaScore, which could be pretty interesting. And then a midfield 3 of Zaccaria, Locatelli, and then Fagioli. So we'll see. I think this, and then you got Bonucci and Bremer playing together in the back. I mean, I see goals in this game.
Yeah.
Bob
says 3-3.
Bob says 3-3. Someone says 2-2. I see 3-3. 2-2. Bob's saying 2-2 and 3-3. Make up your mind, Bob.
2-2 is for the Napoli game, I think.
Oh, is he saying 2-2 for the Napoli game? Okay.
Yeah.
Napoli are going to, Sassuolo are going to score.
Yeah.
But I think Juve really need to get off to the right start here. If they're going to be a thing. I'm going to go 2-1 to Juve. I think there'll be goals in this game. There might even be more than the 3 goals I'm giving. But I'm going to go for Juve to win this one narrowly. It'll be a very, very wildly contested game.
Yeah.
But I expect Juventus to, to see what the rest of the contenders have done, getting 3 points right off the blocks, and they're going to want to get their 3 points as well. They don't want to start this thing off behind. So I go Juve 2-1.
George says Juve is going to become the Man U of Serie A this season. 3-2. The Ronaldo effect. If usually I am the optimist, and I would say, hey, Juventus got these new players. They want to come out with a bang. They're going to win something. They're going to win. But I tend to be realist with this in this regard because I don't know. I've seen Allegri last year, Allegri 2.0, and I know it's not the same as before, meaning defensively, they're not the same team. And now they lost De Ligt, they lost Chiellini, and they still got Bonucci. Interesting to see Quadrado with Di Maria up top along Vlahovic. Obviously, Chiesa is not ready yet. And then midfield, I probably would have gone McKennie over Fagioli, but I mean, he can't go wrong. Juventini are talking up this kid, and he looks every time I've seen him, he's looked pretty decent. So he's the future. But I agree. Sassuolo's going to score goals. They are. I like this team offensively. As much as I like Juve's offense, when they're, the potential that they could have, Sassuolo probably has the better offensive output at the moment. I might go on a limb and say, they don't have the Vlahovic, but they don't have Di Maria, but they got some quality strikers or attacking players. So I'm going to go 2-2.
Okay.
Goals both ways, and I don't think they can. Bremer's obviously there. We're going to see what he does, but there's so much Bremer can do. There's so much. If it was just like one guy you had to focus on, that's one thing. Bremer could shut him down. he can shut down, the striker for Sassuolo. And by the way, they got Boga, they got, Pretez, they got all these guys that can score goals for them. So Sassuolo are going to get goals in this one, and I don't think Allegri will have a recipe for this just yet. I think I'll take Allegri some games to get up to speed, but yeah, 2-2.
So basically, what we're saying is, if you're working tomorrow in North America, have these games on in the back. At the very least, have these games on in the background if you can. Keep the noise down, but because there's going to be goals in each of them. So that's where we stand on those. So it looks like the chat is agreeing with all of us. With both of us. So.
All of us. We're high ourselves. Think high ourselves. Goals of the week.
I've got the Sanabria goal.
Okay.
And I've got Rebic's first.
Right.
Those really are the two.
Okay.
I want to put Pierre Kalulu's defense on the Udinese counter is a play of the week. So that's in there for me. I'll go with Sanabria's goal of the week, Rebic second, Kalulu's defensive effort third. I'm going to go fourth. I'm going to go I'm just going to say those three.
Okay. Great minds. My top 5 plays.
Wait a second. Cristante banger? No.
Is that Chris? If it's Chris,
no.
He's a Romanisti. Let him have his day. I'm gonna say my top 5 plays. Notice I said plays. We love team goals here at Serie A Sitdown. I think Fiorentina had 2 of them, both the Bonaventura goal and the Luka Jovic goal. I think were both really nice. They're gonna be my top number 5 for me. Number 4, new man at his current club. Okereke, his header. I love the play, the wonderful cross to him, and then he nailed it in there. Okereke is going to have a good season. We're on the same page on number 3. Kalulu, what a fantastic play defensively. 1-on-2, sat right in the middle there, Deulofeu, and Success. Gave no option to give it to Success, and then pounced on Deulofeu, forced that turnover, and got the ball all out of all that. Oh, fantastic play by Kalulu. I mean, he's really growing before our eyes. Every game you're watching him. Number 2, I'm actually going to go Sanabria, number 2. It's acrobatic goal, lovely goal, a great goal. The only reason he's not number 1 is because I'm giving it to Dumfries and Inter for getting the game-winning goal. It could be a big 3 points for them, come end of the season. They're going to be in the mix, obviously. And so anytime one of the top teams can get 3 points at the end, it's going to be one of the plays of the week. So there it is.
You just like to reward any goal when somebody scores it practically off their junk.
Well, man with a brown heart.
I think that's what he hit it with. The angle wasn't the greatest.
In wrestling, they say the midsection. Okay.
But we're on a podcast, and children don't listen to this, so
that's true.
Oh man. Okay. So all right. So those were our goals of the week. We got a long way to go with this season. Hard to really kind of get this, but the first week, first impressions, we're kind of dialing it in right now. We'll see, who kind of continues this in match week 2 and who just fooled us in match week 1. It's, we always say it. We said, once we get through 10 games, we've kind of got an idea of what everybody is.
Yep.
So, Anthony saying, hopefully Dumfries wore a cup. Children of the Corn. Jerry, what are you doing?
He's watching Oilers right now.
He's watching Oilers highlights. He's getting ready for Oilers season.
There you go.
So, all right. Well, I guess since all of our Serie A business is taken care of, we can move on to the world's most popular hashtag game. Who won Calcio? Twitter. Richard, lead us off.
All right, let me fix the screen here. Okay, here we go. Coming in at number one, the first up today, I should say, Art Morelli it says, how it started November 5th, 2019. Napoli players walk out on retreat. Is Carlo Ancelotti now at odds with Aurelio De Laurentiis? How it's going now? It's a scene of The Godfather. And they're taking out Alan. I guess this is Ancelotti. There's Alan. And then you got Milik. Right in the face. There's one more. I forget who the other one was.
Is it Mertens?
I don't know if it's. I don't remember if it's Mertens or not.
No, Koulibaly.
Cool ball. Insigne. Anyway, that's
Spina. Yeah, I'm a little ahead of you.
Yeah. So nice for
There's Mertens. Okay. Mertens got to be Barzini, huh?
Yeah.
So. Oh man.
All right, what you got next?
Okay, moving on. Hang on, let me get up to my at Max Rushton, simply stunning from Dybala. It's a different. This was in the preseason friendly against Shakhtar Donetsk. Dybala takes. Wow. I don't think any of my when I coached U10 last year, I don't think any of my boys hit a corner like that.
Oh my goodness! All right, coming in next is Uncle Sharma, and it's Ronaldo back in our lives. Cristiano praying he doesn't have to play with Rabiot again.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
All right. Our friend Joe Fischetti at Joe_Fischetti5. Let me save everyone some time and provide this week's Raspadori updates. Tuesday, meeting tomorrow. White smoke expected. Wednesday, meeting tomorrow. White smoke expected. Thursday, meeting tomorrow. White smoke expected. Friday, meeting tomorrow. White smoke expected.
Oh.
Getting a little impatient with the Raspadori to Napoli rumors, I guess.
It was just like the CDK watch when every time, every day was just like, is there white smoke at Milanello? No. Or Casa Milan, I guess. All right. Moving on. Jude Summerfield. He says, Adrian Rabiot would be a statement signing for Manchester United. If that statement is, we have no idea what we're doing.
All right, let me see. Is it this one here where you're replying to Uncle Sharma as the next one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is at NodMK2. When did Brozovic become a top midfielder? Talk me on Barella, not Brozovic.
Yeah, so the original tweet was Liverpool are said to be preparing an offer for Brozovic, and this guy has no idea who Brozovic is. So,
okay.
Let's see. Uncle Sharma, a midfield duo of McTominay and Rabiot at Manchester United. It's the Island Boys.
Island boy. I'm just Island boy.
Oh my God, these guys are hard to watch. Hard to watch. Oh. All right.
What is that?
What's that?
I'm not, it's not my way of like, I don't want to rip on cult, but are they going for like,
I don't know,
their hair to look like French fries or what is that?
Nobody knows with these guys.
Just one of these guys that think they're taking on their own. Okay.
Yeah.
At Dick Grayson 194. There's no way Juve can struggle to score goals since they got Vlahovic now.
Allegri. Watch this. Watch this. Oh, that's good.
All right.
A lot of
leader in the clubhouse, I think.
Oh, what did I just do there? Okay, out of context. Toby Maguire as Manchester United with the glasses off. It looks like Frankie de Jong puts the glasses on. Nope, it's Rabiot.
Oops. Okay, Apex Crafter, our friend over there, is nominating at Paolo_is dead. Di Maria, Pogba, Bremer, Kostic, let Allegri cook the cooking.
Oh.
Let's put raw eggs, sauce.
Oh, disgusting.
Classic Alfredo. Now putting more ragu in the classic Alfredo. Letting that all drip, and then.
Do you see that? You put it in your bowl. And I use this because I don't have a spoon.
Yeah, not so much. Sorry.
It looks like somebody puked over penne.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Right.
Terrible.
Last week's winner, the Big Show, comes back and says Napoli are cooking something up, and something is a pizza on fire.
We expect better from the Big Show. I mean, as much as he's won, we know he's got to bring it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay, so at Jersey SoCal, our friend George added 10 years to his life. Mourinho at United versus Mourinho at Roma.
A different man.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, this one. This is great. This comes from Milan Weekly Podcast. They nominated this one from at J Pep, and it's Petula che risponderà mi masturbo su
Possibile mi aiuti anche tu.
Let me start from the beginning here. Listen.
Invece vorrei rispondere a Mimas Turbo su Twitter. Dice possibile mi aiuti anche tu, Gianluigi.
So those who can't see this,
they're
taking Twitter questions, right? And one of the guys handled is Mimas Turbo. So Mimas Turbo means I masturbate. And so this guy read this out on national television and I masturbate. And that's why the guy was chuckling because he's like, what the hell did you just say?
Oh boy. Okay, that's up there, Stevie. I don't know if it's the winner yet. All right. Oh, and an oldie but goodie Napoleonismo SMS seeing Juve sign every possible Serbian except him.
I don't know what went into that process. I met the criteria to be selected, but I wasn't. I don't know what went into that process.
Oh, Isaiah Thomas.
That is brilliantly put. When you see that Vlahovic and Kostic are there, but fellow Serbian Milinkovic-Savic isn't there.
So we nominated this one because this guy at United, Frankie, thinks he saw the ultimate comp video. And he says, Adrian Rabiot is going to ball under Eric Ten Hag. And it's his highlights. I don't know how they found these highlights of Rabiot scoring goals and doing well, but they took out all the junk. So that's why you can't ever trust the compilations, right? Because he looks like a world beater here, and we all know what Rabiot is. So,
yeah, this fools people, definitely. That is for sure. Our friend, this is just Juve wanting to say once again, Inter needed a Juve worse person to win a trophy. This was in relation to Nerazzurri winning, the Big Show winning last week, the summer championship. So, looks like Bob has a nomination here. Let's dive into that.
You got to read the whole thread.
Okay, so in Napoleonismo saying Vlahovic in the Ballon d'Or nominations, but Allegri is somehow a defensive coach. Collapsed at Arsenal fans quoting this.
Bob quoted it. All right, what else we got here? Bob again nominated something. All right, so original tweet was from Ray LFC. It says Klopp wants to speak to Nicola Barella personally. And then Nasty says he's going to tell him he thinks Hendo is a better player. Oh, okay.
You know what? With all due respect, I did watch that Lecce Inter game yesterday, and I do have to say that Nicola Barella is in mid-season rolling around on the ground form, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, okay. Napoleonismo, he's got a few nominations. I think this might be the winner. Rabiot, seeing this United performance.
Let me tell you something.
Wait. Here, Trent.
Let me tell you something. Wait. I can't stop this. Oh, my God. Let me go back. I swear. I don't want to go there. Oh my God.
Okay.
That's the leader right now. That's the
all
leader.
Right.
All right.
Nominee from the Big Show.
Yeah, another for the at just Juve right now. This is after the Inter game against Inter one. I forget what game this is after. I forget now. I don't remember anymore.
Oh,
my God, I can't remember. Oh, it's Udinese. After the Udinese match. That's right. After the Udinese match.
Yep.
he's like, come on.
No, it was after the Inter match.
Was it after? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Don Pepino, huh?
All right. Moving on.
You doing this or
Don
me?
Pepino. Napoli fans explaining how they'll win the league this year and they won't. Roma fans on their way to watch Dybala ball. Lazio fans talking to a brick wall. Juve fans being forced to watch Allegri's terrorism ball for another year.
That's good. That is good.
That's wow. We've got some competition.
Winners. Yeah. All right. I nominated Serie A English or Serie A because when they did the introductions for Salernitana, they missed the pictures for Braun, Vilhena, and Candreva. They could not find the pictures anywhere on the internet, not even for their old teams. Like, come on.
Oops.
And they want to worry about piracy. No one's going to steal that shit.
All right. And then our friend Nima Tavali with the final nomination. Whoever came up with this is a genius. So Yogi Low, hand in his pants, shakes Kai Havertz's hand. Kai Havertz shakes Thomas Tuchel's hand. Thomas Tuchel shakes Antonio Conte's hand and doesn't let go.
Look at his reaction. His face is like, no,
let go.
Oh, that's good. That's good. A lot of good ones today.
Oh, mercy. Okay.
Oh, man.
We know it's down to Don Pepino and Napoleonismo. I'm conflicted here.
I think it's a co-winner here because they're both that good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here's a Rabio one again.
Let me tell you something. Wait. Let me tell you something.
Wait. Let me tell you something. I mean, and then also Don Pepino was brilliant with the Milan fans clapping, Inter fans, dancing with the Lukaku thing. The Napoli fans trying to explain to you why they're going to win the title this year. And then Lazio
fans talking to a brick wall about Immobile.
And then freaking Walter, whatever his name is, dying. It's Allegri ball. I mean, that was great also. I think co-winners here, Frank. I don't know.
I'm with Nathan. I think Napoleonismo wins this week.
Fair enough. I can't go disagree with either.
All right. I'll hype that up. Meanwhile, I'll let you say words to the people.
Oh my God! I'm trying not to laugh here. Let me take this off the screen because I'm not going to stop laughing here. Let me tell you something. Oh, I'm lost for words here. Yeah, Serie A Sitdown. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You name it, we're there. Support the page. You can go and try to get some of our gear as well if you want, or some of the cups or any of the trinkets there. Give a shout out to Wayne in Rome, Wayne Gerard. Talk a little bit of Roma early on. If you miss it, rewind, go back and watch it later, or listen to the podcast when it comes out. Always good to have Wayne on. We had Wayne on last season talking about Roma as well. A nice 30-minute chat there. So thank you, Wayne, for coming on. Definitely give him a follow. Follow his YouTube page. We're going to share it a little bit later, so make sure he gets some subscribers there. Let me tell you something. Yeah, no, that's good. Good first opening week. We got 2 more games tomorrow. Excited to see what those games should be. Goals in both those games, really. So, yeah, excited, Frank. It's season started off with a bang with Hulu and Calcio Twitter, and yeah.
That was pretty good. I remember seeing that yesterday, and I was like, "This is easily going in there." So
yeah.
Oh man, play it again one more time. I think we need to have more fun with it.
All right, let me get the sound on here. Let me start from the beginning here.
Wait. Let me tell you something. Wait. Let me tell you something. Wait.
I laughed so hard my microphone came out. Oh my god. Oh, you're right. That's a winner.
Yeah, that has to be. So, and the bots show up right at the end.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
So, all right. Well, with all of that, we're going to put a bow on this edition of Serie A Sit Down. Nothing else for me to plug except I'm at FTC_21. Anything else, Richard?
No. No. Ready to get out of here.
Okay. We're gonna laugh at this one all week.
Oh my god, yes. Let me tell you something.
Serie A Sit Down. We have our own channel on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud. We're also on Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever there are podcasts. There is Serie A Sit Down. So for those who are not tuning into us live on YouTube and you want to pass this along to friends, please let them know of those certain spaces where you can find us. At Serie A Sit Down on Twitter. And Instagram. You can also find us on Facebook. And we'll be back on next week, won't we, Richard?
Yes, we will.
Yes, going in through match week 2. They're just going to keep coming. So chat was amazing. Thank you all for being a part of it. Some great questions for Wayne. And again, our special thanks to Wayne Gerard for coming on and putting the spotlight on Roma. And we're excited for what they're going to bring to the table this season. So have a good rest of your weekend, everybody. Have a great week. Looking forward to next weekend's action. For Richard, I am Frank. And as always, tell your paisans about us. Ciao.